Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode. I have my lovely wife, Jessica, here today. We have our co-host, Victoria Pond.
Howdy.
We got Gabe in the house. He's our worship leader. And of course, myself, Jacob Alvarado.
Okay.
Thank you for clicking on today's video. We're excited that you're joining us. And this is
Ignite Fire.
Today we're doing something a little bit different. Instead of talking about transgenderism and talking about political stuff and talking about all the crazy things that we may get flagged for someday, we are talking about relationships. Now, I have a handful of different questions right here on my phone. So I'm going to be putting the spotlight on Gabe, Jess, and Jacob today because these guys are in happy, wonderful relationships, and your girl is not. She has no idea what she's talking about. So I got some questions for you all. And Gabe, if you have any questions too,
feel
free.
Everything's on the table. Like we were just talking about earlier today, my wife can be a little unfiltered sometimes, letting us know exactly what she's thinking. And she cannot hide anything off of her face. Like she will show you what she's thinking.
So today's going to be a really interesting episode. So I guess we better buckle up. And,
Here we go.
We'll start super simple. So my first question,
Okay, question one.
So let's say for myself or other little single Christians out there, you see somebody across the way, across the sanctuary, and they're lifting their hands. Oh my gosh, Jesus, you're so good. Praise the Lord. And then during the sermon, they're like, oh my gosh, preach it, pastor. Like, oh my goodness. What are the red flags of the cute churchgoer?
Ooh, the red flags of the churchgoer. So first off, there's predators in the church. So just watch out. Watch out. And,
Watch out for him.
And you know, they say that the church is a hospital for the broken. So if they look good, there might be some things that they're working through. Just saying, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts
Yeah.
on it?
No, that's true. I think you just have to get to know the person. You know, it's so easy to get attracted with your first look and whatnot, but that can put you down a wrong path. So
For
really just get to
sure.
know the person and then make a decision.
Yeah, totally.
Watch them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Watch
watch the fruit of their lives.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's good. Okay.
And then you can find a lot of by, you know, stalking them on Facebook or Instagram, and you're like, what's this person doing on the down low?
Oh
on
my
the DL?
goodness.
What's
All
this
these
person
girls.
doing?
On the DL.
All these
Yeah.
girls who know how to be like FBI agents on social media, like you're just encouraging that even more. I love it. Gabe, do you have any thoughts on this
I mean,
question?
it's
What
a-
are some red flags?
It's the same thing. I mean,
Yeah.
you just have to look at what their life is like outside of that Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Anybody could dress up their best and come to Sunday and be like, Amen, Jesus, yes,
Hallelujah.
revival, hallelujah. It's like, bro, I just saw you at the bar. Like,
Ooh.
you know what I'm saying? So, and no judgment or anything like that, but you just have to look at their life on the full spectrum, not just from a Sunday, you know, afternoon in the morning like
Right.
that. You need to be able to see what they're doing outside of that. If you want to, I mean, if you're that invested, I guess. Most of the time, I'm really not. So,
We call them weekend warriors.
the weekend,
Those are the weekend warriors.
yeah,
That's funny.
yeah. No, seriously, they're a Christian for a Sunday, but the rest of the week is like, nah, not really. So that could be. I mean, that's the biggest red flag. Is like
Yeah.
if they're a temporary Christian, like only
Part-time Christian.
Part-time Christian.
Right.
Yeah, there you go.
Ooh, if they're a part-time Christian.
Yeah.
Okay, so what does a full-time Christian look like then? If you're seeing somebody from afar and they're doing all the churchy things, what are some questions that you can approach a person with and be like, okay, how can I figure out if this person is just a part-time or a full-time Christian?
Well, I think also you look at the same thing. You look at their life outside of, you know, as you get to know the person, or even just in conversation. I think a lot of times, at least for some people, they have a gift of discernment. So some people are just like, I've talked to you for a couple minutes, that's all I need to know, and they're out. For the person that doesn't have that same type of gifting or isn't there yet, I would say you need to also look at how they communicate with others outside of the church. So whether that's even just their family or their other close friends that they're a part of in the church and outside of the church, because if they're having two different types of lives, it's pretty easy to see within their friend group too. You
Oh
know?
yeah, I was gonna
That's
say the
a
same
good
thing.
one.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the same thing because you can tell a lot by a person. So you give a little bit of time, and then they start getting a little comfortable. And
True.
then, things start to come out that they were
Right.
on their best behavior, trying to, get your attention. But then you see how they act towards their parents, how they act towards their
Right.
friends, and then
So
who
good.
their friends are says a lot.
Right.
For sure.
Right.
Right.
Definitely.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say though, don't diminish the progress that you may see though, because that's what I always looked for was is this person progressing in their own individual faith? Because it is a hospital. We're all broken
Right.
in some
Yeah.
ways, and that maybe they are struggling with something. But I've always looked at the constant. If there is constant progress from Sunday to Sunday, week to week, you see because you should see a person start to change. Because their heart should change because of Jesus. So you
Right.
should start to reflect different things. So if you're not reflecting different things, you're probably remaining the same and just showing up on Sunday.
Yeah.
Which
Staying
is
stagnant.
that is where I say, all right, I'm out.
Oh, you just reminded me of something. I think this is really dangerous though.
Oh,
when
here we go.
someone has potential,
Mm.
you don't want to base a relationship on someone's potential
Call them out, Jacob. Call them out.
because
Yeah.
everyone has the potential
Right.
to be better.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that they will
Right.
be better.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
you go.
You don't ever want to go into a relationship thinking you're going to change someone because you're
Probably not going to work.
If you're not.
And
we're
Jess
not.
knows this by
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah. For sure. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people thought that they could change them. It's going to get better. I can change this person,
For sure. I did too.
Yeah,
I did too. Yeah.
Right? But we shouldn't ever go into a relationship thinking that. You got to be happy with
Right.
who they are or
Right.
they're not the person for you.
Yeah. I think it's good to remember what is your job and then also what is God's job.
Yeah.
So, if we try to consistently change a person just because we like them or we would really see the potential with this person, most of the time there's always something even that much more better for you anyways.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's good.
That reminds me. I don't believe. This is just my personal opinion. I don't believe that God has one specific person for an individual. I think.
Okay, that was one of my questions for later.
Actually,
so
okay,
so
well,
hit it.
I'll hold it.
Yeah. No. You can go for it. Hit it.
Yeah, I don't think that God has one specific person for somebody. I think that we have to die to ourselves, and when we meet somebody, if we know that we have to make a decision whether to be with this person or not. And then that's part of the marriage vows, like through thick and thin, sickness and in health, like
Yeah.
to death do us part. Like I am committing to do this because that person I don't believe in soulmates. I believe that we make a decision to be with someone, and so it's very important, I think, to the process of getting to know someone before the altar. You know.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So I have a question based off of that then. So
Okay.
my mom always would talk to me about this, how there is God's perfect will for the person that you're with, and there is God's passable will.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So what are your thoughts on that with like the person that you decide to spend the rest of your life with?
I think no matter, I'll go first and then I'll let you go. I think no matter who they are, whether it's the permissive will of God or the perfect will of God, there's going to be some problems.
Yeah, for sure.
And if you don't make the decision to be with the person regardless, it'll be easy to pull out.
Yeah. Marriage is a commitment too. So it's like of course, there's things you love about your spouse, the person that you're with, and then there's those things you don't really like about them. But you have to understand that this is a choice that you made and you're in this for the long haul if it's marriage. And so I know for us, since we've been married, those are things that I'm like, okay, is this really that big a deal? Or is this something that I should just lay down and learn to like about him, or that this is accept this is who he is, then
Like when I
it's-
eat really loud, like chips next to you.
yeah, or chew ice cream because ice cream should be chewed.
Or yogurt.
Ice
I chew
cream.
yogurt. I chew yogurt.
How
ice
how do
cream.
you chew it?
I don't know. It's just a reaction.
Like this.
I
Those
no words.
kind of things. It is who he is,
Oh,
right?
man.
So funny. Oh my, I learned something new about you today, Jacob. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, well, interesting stuff. Gabe, do you have anything to say about that?
No, there's not much to say.
Okay. Cool. Okay. So my next question, this is kind of going back to the green and red flags of the churchgoers.
Oh.
So what are some green flags of the maybe not as cute churchgoer?
Oh, that's a red flag already.
I'm gonna let you go. Because I'm gonna be honest with you. How do I say this, man? God help me. God help me. I believe, at least from my personal humble opinion, you should be attracted to the person you're trying to pursue.
Yes.
Right.
You should
Okay,
be.
yeah.
They could be
Please,
they could be
please, yes.
spiritually here, but lack everything else.
Yeah.
And it will all fall apart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really, and this is where I'm gonna be honest. I don't care what you say or what anybody says. If as a guy, if I'm not attracted to you, it's just not gonna work.
Right.
You
No.
may be the most
No.
ultra spiritual person,
Right.
amen, hallelujah, this or that. At some point, I'm just gonna it's just
Yeah.
not gonna work out.
Absolutely.
There's no way. If
Yeah.
I'm not attracted to you, it's not gonna work out.
For sure.
That's me.
I
know
agree.
some people try to make it work though, and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Or they end up getting into a marriage, and then they have kids, and then they're like all depressed and like, oh, my life sucks, you know. Yeah, it's like, well, you made it. You did this. This is your decision. So now you have to stay there,
Right.
Because that's what you're called to do. I mean, you made that decision, so you're gonna try to make it work to your best ability, your bestest ability. But I'd recommend not doing that.
I know a few guys that have done that. And
Okay.
you know, I've got to counsel a lot of guys and be in a lot of men's groups. And I've heard stories and I've known people personally that have gotten in a relationship and they were not completely attracted to the person. And a couple years down the road, it's like not good. Not good at all. No.
Yeah. You got to be
no.
happy with the person you wake up to every morning.
That's
You got to be
good.
attracted to them or just
Yeah, yeah.
not going to work. Not gonna
Yeah,
work
yeah.
out. Yeah.
All right.
And then my belief is there's so many people out on these streets that you don't have to settle for
true.
the ugly guy, you
That's
know,
true.
or
I
the
didn't
ugly
think
girl.
about
Well,
that.
my question would be, why would you?
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
would you?
I
do
got
that?
the
All right.
answer to
good.
that. I got to the okay. So check
Okay.
this out. I was
Oh.
talking to somebody the other day about this. When you're hungry, a saltine cracker looks good. Like instead of waiting
Oh my gosh.
for that
I'm gonna
T-bone,
leave now.
instead of waiting for that T-bone steak, you're like, oh my God, just give me something to satisfy this hunger. And so in the church, I'm just saying there might be a lot of hungry
Dude,
people.
I've seen it.
And all of a sudden, they're like, hey, I'm going to look at all the good about this person and
Yeah.
just ignore all this other stuff because I'm so hungry that I just need to satisfy this appetite.
Wow.
And then all of a sudden, they get stuck in a situation
Yeah.
that they're like, crap. Like, if.
Yep.
And the thing about the saltine cracker too is that it won't sustain you like the steak would.
Ooh, that's right.
Now-
That's
Protein.
right.
That's a word for somebody.
Now here's a question. Here's a question too that I get from a lot of the young Christian community is always pushing. Now I have my personal opinions on this, and I don't mind sharing that. They're always pushing. Guys, get married as soon as you possibly can. Like, ring it up. Ring by
Negative, Ghost
spring.
Rider.
Negative, dude. I'm like, hold on a second. Like, you haven't even had enough time to process. Like, if this is somebody you really, 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 really want to spend the rest of your life with, and I feel like that.
Right.
It comes on. It's the church's fault for really trying to push
True.
marriage so quickly that you see a lot of these
Yes.
young couples get together and then the divorce rate's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
It's like
Oh,
it's
yeah.
insane. It's like we did no good. We didn't disciple them. We didn't mentor them in any ways. It's like we were just like, just fulfill the need. It's like get
They
married.
break all the rules and then expect it
Right.
to be good.
Right.
Wow.
And it's like, really,
Ooh.
guys, that's the solution. Let's just go ahead and get married as soon as we possibly can. So that way you could start having sex and all this stuff. And that makes it better because that completely makes, your tendencies, I guess, change. No, that's not the way it works. It
Right.
doesn't just change like that overnight. So I think there's a lot of things that need to be filtered out, that need to be dealt with before you even get married. Because I'm not married yet. And then I know I'm not. Well, I mean, I would love to, but, this economy sucks.
Valid.
And my girlfriend understands. She's like, yeah, maybe in like two more years. We'll see where we're at. It's like, but she says that in a joking way, but I'm serious. There's so many people that be like, 2 years. It's like, you guys should have been married like 2 years ago. I'm like, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know why the church tries to push that so much, but that's my personal opinion. Is like that could be really dangerous. Divorce rate goes up. It's statistically shown. It's like not good.
Yeah.
So a lot of brokenness there.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Next question. Okay. Any other last comments before I move on?
No, go for it.
No. Okay, cool. So let's say, as a guy, right?
Okay.
So I'm gonna ask the fellas here. You meet a cute girl, okay, and she's hitting some green flags. You're like, oh dang, all right, I'm kind of into this.
All right.
How do you handle the pursuit?
How do you handle the pursuit? Like the
Like
pursuit
asking
of
her to date, asking her, to coffee, just like the different questions that you ask her to know. Like, okay, just how do I move forward with this
good.
relationship?
I'm not good on this because Jess and we both met on Tinder.
Yep.
we both swiped right.
That was the pursuit. That
was the pursuit.
Well, okay. So then, when you guys were sitting at your first date, how did you guys handle that, Jacob? What was?
Well, first off, so I was already a committed Christian at the time, right? And on my little profile, I was like, hey, if you're just looking for a hookup, then keep swiping because that's not what I want. And then Jess had something similar.
Yeah.
And so then when we started talking, we went out. I knew myself and I was not particularly good with just being in a private setting with someone.
For sure.
So I invited Jess to a birthday party with some friends. And so
Oh, that's
So I was
cool.
his date
Yeah.
to the birthday party.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like that idea. That's cool.
So that's how we started.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Cool.
we broke all the rules, by the way.
What do you mean
Said-
broke all the rules?
No, I said we
Like-
still broke all the rules.
We broke all the Christian rules.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
Yes.
Those rules.
Yes. And
That's so funny.
we had to work through a lot.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah. All right. So Gabe, how did you? So you met your girlfriend.
Yeah.
And you were like, "Dang, I'm really into this girl." How did you handle it?
I mean, it's different like in the time
Right.
of like recent years.
Totally.
Because I knew my now girlfriend for a very long time. I knew her. We grew up on pretty much like around the same block. We went
Oh,
to the same
wow.
high
She was
Okay.
Jenny from the block.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So
The cute next door neighbor.
so yeah, there was times where like I'd go to the park and I didn't know her at the time, but we went to the same park. Like we were just around the same neighborhood, went to the same high school. Let's see. I took her out on prom. So I was a senior.
High school sweethearts.
I was
That's
a
so
senior.
cute. I didn't
she
know
was
that.
a junior. And then I think we were together for I forget how long we were actually together because my memory is really really bad. Ouch.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. I got
kidding.
I got dates on my phone just in case I forget. But yeah, it was the same back then. And then what happened was I was on this journey with she had been hurt by the church. I was going more into the church. So naturally we started to kind of, okay, I'm a senior, I'm pursuing worship leading and all this stuff. You were very, very hurt by the church, and I'm gonna be basically leaving, going to college, and you're still a junior, you're going to your senior year. So naturally we did just kind of, okay, this is probably the best that we are not together.
Yeah.
And so that's what we did. And then years later, see, and here's a little secret. I've always loved this girl. And it's different because I've talked to many different girls, and I've pursued the whole let's get coffee, and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But I mean, hey, whatever. If you like getting coffee with your girl, that's cool. For me, I don't really care. I care more about like, I don't know, let's go take a walk or go to the gym or something. No, seriously, I like doing something active and but so then let's see. After I was in college and then went to my medical job, I was working there for about a year and a half. And literally, I remember praying because I was like, all right, God, like I'm trying to figure out all this worship leader stuff and everything. That was the same time like Ignite was just starting up.
Yeah.
Literally, Ignite was just starting up. I went and attended and helped you guys out with all that stuff. So my relationship and then my journey also with worship leading God kind of was like throwing this all in the mix at the same time. My now girlfriend was right across my work for all those 2 years that I was like there
That is so
working.
funny.
It was just so weird. I'm just like,
Yeah.
like, first of all, I mean, at some time moment in our like friendship and stuff, I was like, I don't even want to see you anymore.
Ouch.
but
Dang.
but my prayer was always simple: bring the people that need to be in my life and separate the people that don't need to be in my life at all. And she had just started going back into the whole church thing, getting her relationship with God right, progressing by herself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it was cool because when we did, by the time we did get back together, she was ready to go. Like, she was like, okay, I'm ready to go to church. I'm ready to get deep into, you know, my growth with God, my own relationship and everything, which was super, super cool because I was able to see where she was in high school and then where she is now is like, it's like crazy. You know, we go to
Totally
church on
different.
Sunday. She's always there, you know, getting her own Bible stuff going. And so it's cool. I don't have to tell her to do anything. It's just for her. And she knows that, okay, it's my relationship, not your relationship or the pastor's relationship or any of that. It's your own individual relationship with God. So anyways, I'm going really long, but you know, that's kind of how I went about pursuing that relationship was actually with prayer. Honestly,
Yeah.
that's how I went into
That's
pursuing
good.
that relationship was with prayer. Is this a good idea? God, make it clear yes or no, because I don't got time to be messing around. Basically, I'm out. You know,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
out.
good.
And
That's good.
that was it. That was
Nice.
literally it.
I love it. Thanks for sharing. Okay, next
You
question.
can cut that short if you want.
Okay. How should one approach an argument in a spirit-led way? How do you factor personalities
Oh, that's hard.
into?
There's no way to get in an argument with this because you're already, honey. We'll let you answer this one first.
Go ahead and finish the question real quick.
That was pretty much it. How should one approach an argument in a spirit-led way where they're just approaching that person with love rather than with a whole, like, I'm right situation
Right.
and you're wrong?
Right.
Well, Jess is always right.
The chonker.
90%
This
of
guy's
the
got it
time.
figured out. This guy's got it figured out.
So many years of marriage will do that to you. I think it depends on what the argument is, what it's about.
Okay.
And then just openly communicating with the individual, whoever it is,
Yeah.
your spouse or significant other, and then seeing both sides. Putting your pride down is a huge one for both
So good. So
him
good.
and I. You have to put your pride down and just realize that at the end of this argument, how big or small it is, your partner is still there to be there with you and to support you. You guys aren't fighting against each other. It's not you against the other person, you know, conquering the world. You're conquering the world together. So whatever the issue is, you're going to be fine. It's going to be okay. And normally the argument's not that big a deal and you just kind of learn to get over it.
Yeah.
So just openly communicating.
There you go.
Letting your voice, your person's voice be heard, your spouse, letting their voice be heard, and that way it allows you to see it from a different perspective.
Yeah, that's so good.
One of the things that I learned was you don't have to agree with the other person.
Right.
Yeah.
You just have to hear them.
Absolutely.
Because 80% of the time I don't agree with Jess. But I have to let her know that she was heard.
Yes, that's
And
so
so-
good.
That's right.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Because then you feel validated,
Right. Right.
you know? So,
Yeah.
So
and
true.
that more so, I think, is from my own perspective, is like sometimes more important. I just want to be validated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel
And
that
that used to
one.
get me upset because I'm like, I ain't trying to validate your wrong. Like,
Oh my gosh,
And so-
I get so mad at that. I'd be like, whoa, back up. That's so funny.
you know, and we both got issues. Like, I don't want to be validated if I'm wrong, you know? Like, tell me the truth. And sometimes the truth is harsh. Like,
For sure. For sure.
and I'm Mexican, so sometimes I'm like, she's like, why are you yelling? I'm like, I'm not yelling, I'm just Mexican. Like, this is how I talk.
That's funny.
So there is some cultural differences too
For sure.
yeah.
from Jess and
Yeah.
I.
Yeah.
If you can tell, Jess is a white girl and I am Mexicano.
Okay, so how do
Dude.
you and your girlfriend approach arguments? Do you guys really get into?
We're both Mexican. We get into arguments all the time. This is nothing new. This is nothing new. Like honestly, I've just learned as much as I hate, because I'm a very logical person. I'm not a very, if you come at me with an emotional standpoint of you feel this way, I'm not very catering to that. You know, I've learned to
He'll learn.
He'll get there. He'll get there.
I've trust me. No, and that's the thing is I've learned pretty quick that it just causes more. So, and here's the thing is, I mean, it does depend on what the argument is. Seriously, like how important. I don't even want to use that, but how important it really is and how non-important it really is. Like if we were arguing over something stupid, of course, I mean, we just both kind of talk and until we end up laughing about it and then we go on with the rest of our day. If it's something serious though, like I said something about your mama or something and you said something about mine, which has never been the case, but well, I mean, maybe, but I don't know. Maybe one time I said something a little bit too harsh, but most of the time what I've learned in arguments is to say, if I'm wrong, is to say I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Is to not just let it just, try and trickle down this like moment of silence where I'm not going to give in to the, okay, yeah, I know I'm wrong, but I'm not going to say anything. Like me talking to you is enough type of thing. No. I mean, yes, I'm sorry. So I've learned to say, I'm sorry.
No, that's so good.
I'm so sorry. My tone was intimidating, or things like that. I've had to work on my tone and my volume. So I might talk with intensity, but my volume level never, rises. Just how I say things might change. So I've learned those things pretty quick. Because she was like, who do you think you are?
Mr. Big Stuff. Who do you think you are?
Yep, that's me.
Oh, I love it.
Oh man.
What else you got?
Okay, so we're pulling out a scripture now. What does the Bible mean when it says, "Do not awaken love before it so desires"?
Where's that at?
That's in Song of Solomon.
Oh, do not awake.
Love before it so desires.
Different translations say different things, but I think
What translation is this?
this is NIV.
Okay.
Oh, the nearly inspired version.
I know we talked about this last time, but I haven't gotten a new Bible since.
That's okay. That's okay.
I think I have an NIV too. It's okay. I think that is like just really taking the time and praying on whoever you are pursuing and what that relationship should be about. Just making sure you really know the person before you get in too deep.
Or if you can't handle the heat, then don't go into the kitchen.
Okay.
That's such a good analogy, actually. I was not expecting to get that when he was saying it. I was
Can't handle the heat.
Don't handle it. Get out.
Don't go into the kitchen.
You can't handle the fire,
so
don't get
funny.
close.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good.
Right.
I didn't think about that.
Anyone that cooks is going to get burned sooner or later.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Wow. Somebody needed to hear that, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's good. Okay. What are the dangerous realities of engaging in sex before the marriage covenant?
Ooh.
Emotional bondage.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, emotional.
Huge. Because we were both, single parents before, not married
Babies.
before. But that is like drama and to me like can hit you at your core where it really can affect your relationship that you have at an intimate sexual level with your partner with whatever sexual impurities you have before marriage. Because what the Lord wants you to have is a healthy sexual relationship with your spouse as a way to love each other on a deeper level than anything else. When you break that and you have that sort of relationship with prior people that you've been in relationships with, then your thought process and how marriage and sex should be is twisted. So it really gets in the way of a biblical perspective of how to love your spouse on an intimate sexual level. And then you can carry that baggage on into a marriage. And so you have to learn how to work through that if that is something that is part of your life.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing too is like giving that to somebody who is so undeserving of that type of love. No, seriously, like so undeserving of that type of love. I think that's
you
why
don't deserve this.
I mean, you are.
You haven't put a ring on it. You ain't gonna get it.
You are special. You are,
Yeah.
there is a reason why, marriage is so important.
Yeah.
But I think that that's one of the biggest things is like when you give to somebody undeserving in the past, you can never get that again. You can never have that moment, that exact moment where you are in purity, basically. So thank God for God's, grace and his mercy for all of our mess ups. But the reality is like you have sex before marriage, you're never going to get that back with the
Right. person
that you were either supposed to meet down the line, that you're supposed to pray for. You didn't save it for that person. So it's not the end, but you just won't get that back.
Not only that, the more partners you have, the harder it is to bond with with your husband or wife.
Right.
And so that can become an issue later on too, because it's clinically proven. I know that there's studies on it that the more partners somebody will have, it's easier for them to end up leaving the person they're with. And so it's like they become calloused a little bit. And it's like, oh, you're not meeting my needs. I can go somewhere else.
That's rough. Body count.
Ouch.
Body count.
You're not meeting my needs.
Yeah.
Ooh, dang.
Yeah.
Because nowadays it's all about me, myself, and I.
Right.
And I was listening to this one thing. It was kind of cool earlier, and it was what's the greatest what's the greatest indicator that a woman is a good mom? And the lady was actually, she's like, it's about to get real. She's like, you guys are going to get mad. You're about to get offended. You might get offended right now.
I think I know what you're talking about.
But what makes a woman a good mom is the fact that she has a man that backs her.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, and she was talking about single moms and stuff like that. And
Come on, man.
And she's like, that's not the way it was meant to be. And she's like, if a woman has a good man that supports her, then she's able to give more to her kids than if she was a single mom.
That's facts, man.
That is so good.
Yep.
And if you're offended,
Men got to step it up.
and if you're offended, be offended.
Be offended. See if we care.
Put some elbow pads, knee pads, and a helmet because it's a dangerous world out there.
Bro.
Oh my God.
There was a video. Oh my gosh, Candace Owens went to a college. And one of the students was like, what do you have to say to the people that feel actively victimized by your presence here? And she was like, get a helmet. Life's tough. I don't know what to tell you. She was like, I'm too pregnant for this. Like, move on.
Dude.
It was so good. I was like, yeah, she's my hero. Sorry.
Come
I
on.
love her.
I love her
So
too.
good.
I
She's
love her
good.
too.
She's good.
That's awesome.
Get a helmet.
Yeah, or a
life's
ladder, and get over yourself.
And get over
right.
yourself. Okay, hold on.
That too.
Here's a good question.
Uh-huh.
Let's say you are in a relationship. When's the biggest time to call it quits? When do you pull out? Let's say you're not married yet, but let's just say you're dating somebody.
Yeah.
Things are getting pretty serious. What are the indications that you should, as either a man or a woman, end that relationship?
If what you want later on in life does not match up to what your person you're dating wants, whether that's kids or like in life, what are your ultimate goals? They're not on the same path as you, and it's, pretty big issues that you're trying to figure out, then you got to end it sooner or later. For sure. And I say go to marriage counseling prior to getting married.
Yeah.
And because they bring up things that you're going to have to deal with in marriage. And if those don't align with the person that you're in a relationship with, then most likely your marriage isn't going to work out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I this is my opinion,
Uh-huh.
but I think everyone knows deep down in the middle of their gut whether or not this person is the right one.
Yeah.
And most of the time, people will ignore that little tug in their gut that says this
Is not
isn't
right.
the one.
Yeah.
And then people will intellectualize and say, no, but this person does this, and this person's so
Right.
spiritual, and this
Right.
person's this, and everything just lines up. Everything's so perfect.
Justification.
Yep.
Justification.
Right.
But the little deep down inside, you're like, just
Just not right.
listen to that.
Yeah.
Listen
come
up,
on,
folks.
man.
Listen up.
Yeah.
Come
yeah,
on,
that's
man.
good.
I agree with that.
But yeah, I had a similar experience recently. The last relationship I was in, when we first got together, it was like it seemed perfect. You know, like it seemed like the Lord's fingerprints were all over it. And it was like, wow, Lord, like praise you. You're great. Like you did it. And then as things started to progress, like a few months in, I started to realize like the different things that he would talk about, we were going in different directions. The different things that he started to want, like career-wise and just like all that stuff, I was like, that's not what you told me when we first got together. And it's not that he was, you know, performing different in the beginning of our relationship. It's just that his desires changed in the few months. But yeah, that was something that I had to pay attention to and be like, okay, Lord, like, this looked like it was really, really good. My mom will even tell you it was perfect from the beginning. Like my mom even said that, but it didn't stay that way. So over time, I really had to realize like, okay, Lord, I trust you that even though this is really disappointing, I thought that this was really, really good. Like we ended up going in different directions. So yeah, that's a great time to let go.
Right.
Okay.
Let it go.
Yes.
Let it go.
You got another
Please
question?
no. I do have another question. Just my last and final question, but we can go on different rabbit holes if we want. What piece of advice would you give to someone who's watching different people in their lives get in happy relationships and start to get married and just like all that stuff, who may be feeling forgotten by the Lord? What piece of advice would you give or encouragement would you give to that person that feels forgotten?
I'd say the Lord's protecting you because just like Instagram posts and Facebook posts, it is not all rainbows and sunshine.
Yeah.
So what people see on the outside may not really be happening behind closed doors. And so if you have not met I think the attention is on what is happening outside and not really what's going on behind that. Because there, even if it's two really awesome people and they're growing, they're gonna have their own issues that they're rude awakenings pretty much. And there's no such thing as a perfect relationship.
Right.
There's no such thing as a perfect, wonderful marriage. Like it takes a lot of work to make that happen. And so instead of focusing on others' relationship, I think if we focus on our relationship with God and what we're doing and being satisfied there, then when the right person comes, they'll be on, we'll have them on the radar and we'll see that, and then things will work out organically, I think. What are your thoughts?
No, I agree for sure. And you have to be a strong individual with good values, and having a strong relationship with the Lord, I feel like, in order to be attractive to that person that God has for you. Because otherwise, you don't know who you are, and you got to love yourself before you can love someone else. And if you've got a lot of things that you need to maybe work on, or in the past, or baggage, you try to bring that to a new relationship. Sooner or later, that's going to come up. So you really have got to love yourself, forgive yourself maybe from the past, or just go through whatever baggage you've got, and then you will be more attractive, and then you will have that light around you and find your person.
And just to add to that, no matter how good you are before you meet your spouse, your spouse will eventually become a sandpaper person. Which, if you get around, my definition of sandpaper people are they rub out the rough edges on you. And so no matter how great they are, they will eventually become a sandpaper person, and they will reveal things in you that need to change.
Yeah.
And so, I'll say myself, for instance, I thought I was really, really spiritual until I met Jess, and then I realized
that is so
some
funny.
things that needed to change inside of me. And same thing, I think, with you.
Absolutely, yeah. Like, I can honestly say that he's made me a better person. He's strengthened my relationship with God. And I would hope to say the same about him, just because we've been together for almost 10 years. We've been married for 7.5, and gosh, we have gone through some hard times where we wouldn't be together if it wasn't for good Christian counseling, good Christian marriage couples that were pouring into us with biblical values, and working through that. So yeah,
I remember when we went to our counselor. I share this all the time on marriage stuff, and we're having a horrible time in our marriage, and I sit down, and the counselor just kept looking at me, and he just kept talking to me. And he wouldn't say anything about Jess. And I'm like, what the heck? And after a couple of weeks, I'm like, hey, bro, okay, look it. We're paying you like $7,500 a week to come see you.
75, not 7,500.
No, yeah, $75
Bro.
a week to come and see you, and all you're doing is talking to me. I was like, there's two people here. If it's just me, then I'm gonna come by myself. And I kept thinking Jess was the problem, and then he really laid into me, and it really helped me to see that I wasn't actually participating in the manhood that I should have.
Oh,
And so he brought it to my attention. He's like, are you or are you not the man of your house? And I'm like, so eventually, I felt the Tabasco sauce running up my legs, and then he's like, are you or are you not a spiritual covering for your wife? Are you or are you not? And he starts going through this list
Dang.
and I'm like, yes. And he's all like, your wife is your mirror. And she is the way she is because you are the way that you are. And he goes, when you change, she'll change. And it was like a slap in the face. And so he was right. And so when I started to change, Jess started to change.
wow.
It's crazy.
That is so, man, y'all got to step up.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
That is so good. Wow.
Yes. We got a generation of a lot of boys that are not men.
Yeah.
And we need to go to boys to men.
Yeah.
That's
good. And I think what I've noticed specifically about like different guys that have tried to, get with this, they're always looking for a babysitter.
Oh.
They're looking for a mom from me. And people don't want to hear this, but it's true. I've had to notice early on
Yeah.
that like, hey, this is not what I'm looking for in a guy. This is not what I'm looking for in my spiritual covering. This is not what I'm looking for in the man of my household. This is not what I'm looking for in the father of my kids.
Right.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And so, that's what I got to say to that.
Yeah. Like I couldn't handle just being my mama. Like
Nor should you want to.
Right. You're
You
looking for a
know?
wife, not a mom.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's
So-
right. Absolutely. Ooh, you want a partner in this life, not a babysitter, not a
For real.
not a second
Yeah.
mama, daddy. No.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And maybe that's because a lot of people come from a broken household where their parents maybe, didn't step up, whether it was the
Yeah.
mom or the dad. And so they come and they look into that in their future partner. But, that's just from brokenness, unfortunately.
From absence.
I feel like,
is where it's
absence.
from.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absence of a father or mother figure, and if they don't fulfill that with God, if, their biological parent couldn't do that, then they're going to be hurt.
This reminds me of a guy that's really controversial. And,
Oh yes, we love that here.
And he talked about Genesis in the beginning, right? And he said the moment that the woman ate of the fruit and she was deceived by Satan became her daddy. And then the man wasn't deceived, but he submitted to the woman, and then the woman became his God. And so I was like, oh, when I heard that, it really
Yeah.
made sense, because he was like, Satan became the woman's God, and then the woman became the man's God. And then all of a sudden, it was like this little hierarchy that Satan recreated man in his image, and he used how he used his deception to do it. And so all throughout time, it's been this struggle between the man and the woman, and the way that looks, and even in today's society, it's like out of control with the gender roles.
Yeah.
People don't even know what gender they are.
No.
Yeah.
And
dude.
there's more confusion than truth that's being spoken, and all that really makes a difference within a relationship and a marriage. Like knowing who you are as a man, knowing who you are as a woman,
Yep.
and knowing your identity, and breaking off away from the identity of the world and of Satan, then you can come into that right relationship.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, man.
Do you have anything to say, Gabe?
I mean, that's it. I mean, if you're not playing your roles, I mean, it's gonna be very, very, very tough. I would say, okay, my biggest thing too is, at least for me, this is what I had to tell my girlfriend too, was like, okay, I'm leading. Let me lead. Let me fail also, because if I don't, if I try and lead, And if there's something that I feel I'm close to achieving, me personally, I would actually rather fail and know this is completely my fault. And then I need to step it up in this area of my life rather than there being Band-Aids all over the place.
Yeah.
I personally, I don't operate well on, hey, well, we probably, I get it. I hear you. Trust me, I hear you. It's like, but I'm this close to feeling like, not even just feeling, but knowing I'm this close to conquering something. So at least let me fail on the way to, getting there. Know that I'm shallow by this many points, or but that's me. I have a very, I don't know how else the mindset would be, but like I'm a very like, okay, if it's this far away, and I make it 85%, whether it's in the gym or in life to whatever I'm doing, if I make it 85%, let me at least get to that 85%. Because
Jess is good at that. She'll tell me her opinion, and she'd be like, "But do what you want.
Right.
Do what you want."
I love it.
And
I
then,
love it.
and then all of a sudden,
yeah.
when it turns out,
But what happens, babe? Finish that. What happens?
She
hey,
says.
and then when it does,
you're like,
not work
you're
out,
right. You were right.
she just looks at me like,
Yep.
"I told you.
Yeah.
I told you.
Right.
Yeah.
I told you."
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do think that it's again, in my life, I don't know about every other man out there, but in my life, it's something with, I think that there is bad pride and there is good and there is
Yeah.
good pride.
Yeah.
And when you take pride in your life and in your achievements
For
and
sure.
in your goals and everything. So if I feel that I need to desperately achieve
Yeah.
this goal and you are constantly saying no,
Yeah.
and don't at least let me get there, even if I'm limping, just let me get there.
Yeah.
Then I'll be okay. But when it's a constant like no, it's like you're not really letting me lead anyway. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you learn by that too.
Exactly,
You know?
exactly.
Yeah.
Now it's up to me after the fact that when I failed to adjust and to fix that and to lead properly.
Right.
Right. But I can't learn unless I do fall sometimes.
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure.
Totally.
So that's one of the biggest things I think for guys, especially too, because my girlfriend will tell me all the time, this is not going to work.
Yeah.
But I'm like,
That's what girlfriends and wives are there for, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
no.
Like that's the partnership of it. Like you can have a really quote unquote fantastic idea, but
Right.
then going to your wife, going to your significant other and being like, hey babe, like what do you think about this? Then they can be that other voice
Yeah.
and typically like you marry your opposite anyway, so they have a totally different perspective than
yeah.
you.
Oh, yeah.
So then it's creating this really great
Yeah.
thing of like, okay, you guys are seeing two different sides of it. Now what's the good combination of that
Yeah.
kind
Yeah.
of thing? And it's like you're complementing each
I think
other.
it's-
So I think that's
Jess-
really cool.
Jess sees things that I don't all the
Oh,
time.
yeah.
And then so she gives me the awareness of what's happening, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. That worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
bro,
that's it.
yep. I just learned to enjoy the beauty of the differences because like the gift basket that we gave out for the the event that
Oh,
we had.
yeah.
Who do you think made that? It
She
wasn't me.
did. She did. Of course she did.
I would have threw in a gift card and said, "Happy birthday, congratulations, you made it." She was like, "No, it's got to have all this stuff," and like I'm like, I don't care about all that stuff. Like just give him an award. I don't know, slap on the wrist. Good job, guys. But
Yeah.
seriously, I don't have that same type of mindset
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
cater towards certain things.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
cool to embrace the differences that are beautiful in that sense. I see it as beautiful. I'm like, I could never do that. I'm not
Of
that
course.
not
Yeah.
that creative in that way.
Yeah.
In other ways, maybe, but not in that way. I could do that, but it would be really bad.
Right.
So yeah, I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, there are so many beautiful differences between men and women that I think people have lost the appreciation for. That again creates that really beautiful complementary duo that you guys become like this whole power couple for the kingdom, right?
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't be able to do the same things individually as you do together.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's
Yeah.
really, really cool. Well, thank you guys so much for answering these questions for me. I
Yeah.
am closing off my phone. So thank you guys for watching. I hope some of your questions got answered. If not, maybe we can do a little part 2. I don't know. Let us know. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We will see you next time.
Later.
Bye.